Hello, welcome to yet another episode of the podcast, The Emotional People. Continuing the series with our mental health expert Nidhi Karya, today we are going to continue from where we stopped last week. We spoke about what is stress and what is the effect of stress on mental health. When Nidhi gave us a lot of insights, Nidhi gave us a lot of thoughts and how really it works in all of us. And as we all know, it is a topic or it is something which every household member is dealing with. If you talk about parents, you talk about people who are working, you talk about kids, this word is very common. So it's very vital for each one of us to understand what is this. In case you missed the previous episode, I would say go back and you can listen to that as well as the previous episodes where we have discussed in detail about various characteristics and aspects of mental health. So, continuing with the discussion with Nidhi, what I want to talk today in this episode is about, again, a little bit about stress, which is symptoms. Symptoms and what happens. What are the symptoms really when one gets stressed? What happens? And followed by how do you really cope up or how do you really cope or handle stress? Yes, Nidhi, over to you.
Yes, Mani. Yeah, so basically, I term these symptoms as emotional reactions. What are the emotional reactions that can happen when you are stressed? Maybe, you start having those concentration issues. So, everybody of us must be aware that, when you're stressed, and when you try to do something, you normally don't tend to concentrate too much. So during our exams we always used to have this, right, that do not stress too much so that you can concentrate. Otherwise, if you start stressing yourself, you won't be able to even study before exams, right? So that's how it has been taught to us from our childhood. Although we as we grow, we normally forget these things which have been taught to us. When you're stressed, also you have a feeling of, you start building up that feeling of insecurity. Those insecure feelings start coming in.
Unknowingly.
Correct. Yes. You start feeling insecure. There's a lot of irritability within you. You cannot just be calm at that point in time. There's always that irritation that goes in your mind. There's this anger, there's this restlessness. You become sad. You start biting nails. There's a lot of things, a lot of reactions that your mind and your body starts giving you, that now your mind is not okay. You're feeling stressed, right? You've got this real burnout. So that's what happens when these emotional reactions actually help us understand that what level of stress are we going through.
Very true. And most often, before we go on to how do you really cope, these symptoms are, if you are very conscious enough, you might notice, but these are more noticed by the people around you, right? Be it your family members, people, others start observing, why is this? They come, we must have seen, right? People directly coming and asking questions, why are you stressed? You are not like this. What is going on in your mind? Because the body reactions and, like you said, symptoms of maybe nail biting or palms getting sweat or that facial expressions, all these indicate that you are in stress. Or these are some of the symptoms, you rightly said, indicate that a person is in stress. If you notice it, very good, you can work on to cope up with them. If you don't, and if somebody points it, I think it's time to recognize, oh yeah, looks like I'm in stress. What is the cause of the stress? So yes, Nidhi, how do you really cope up now? If you know that there is stress or these are some symptoms which indicate that somebody is in stress, what do you do next?
Yeah. So, according to me, the first thing that you should be doing is start acknowledging the signs. As you said that normally others find out that you are stressed. You don't understand, So as you said that, the first thing I would, want, the listeners to understand that you need to start acknowledging the signs that, you should be aware. Be mindful that there's something wrong. You're feeling stressed. That should be the first thing. Start talking. Share your feelings. So when you start sharing your feelings, you become, your heart becomes much lighter. Your mind becomes much stable, because you've got another person to help you out with it, right? Breathing and relaxation, meditation is always, what I suggest, that you should always be doing this, because that's like, this like the best medicine, probably best medicine that you can have. Start deep breathing is something you can do. Maybe now one of the very important things that we normally tend to miss out is time management. From our childhood, we always taught make timetable for your things, do time management. You can't do all things together, and when we start doing all things together, we become stressed. Oh shit, this is left. I did not do this. So that's when time management comes into picture. Start managing your time well. Prioritize your time, probably. Priority management should be done. What should be the first thing? If probably I do not speak to that person, it won't matter. Maybe I can speak to that person tomorrow, but today what I need to do, what are my priorities? You need to understand that really well. And this pandemic has taught us one beautiful thing is to have nutrition. Nutrition is food, to intake good food, nutritions in our body. That'll help us reduce stress, because it's normally when we have too much of oily food or not healthy food, you tend to stress a little more. Then probably if you're having fruits, your mind becomes a little, you little calm, because your body feels calm. That's what happens. Exercise is something which probably, if you're not even doing rigorous exercise, but the best exercise is, walk. Yeah, so that's how you can help reduce the intake of alcohol. If you're actually drinking, maybe reduce your intake of drugs and caffeine. That is also one of the criteria wherein your stress level increases. So yes, these are some of the measures probably you can take. Your lifestyle change probably that can help you in reducing stress. And otherwise, if when I say you can talk, and you can talk to your friends, family, and if you don't have somebody to talk, then there are mentors who can help you. There are coaches who can help you out with it, right? You've got you've got you and me money to help them out if in case they require. Yeah,
definitely. Thank you, Nidhi. Yes. So you gave a lot of tips, lot of ways of coping stress. I mean, I think it applies to all categories of people, right? From a school-going kid to an adult, various things, I mean, you touched upon various things like timetable, planning, do this, exercise, walking, all things. And I'm sure the listeners who are listening to it will get a lot of insights. Okay, maybe this one suits me, maybe that one. Because any of these practices or any of these mechanisms can work. And maybe multiple, even combinations, right? If you walk and then you maybe relax to some music, you talk to some people, you manage your time, different things. So one or more of this combined can definitely help effectively in managing stress. Awesome, great. So we have been covering a lot of these aspects from the last 7 episodes, I would say. And thanks to Nidhi for spending valuable time and giving a lot of insights. And we want to continue this series. We want to continue with a couple of more episodes wherein we want to give the maximum information, maximum knowledge to each one of our listeners so that they can gain from it, they can benefit from it, they can practice it. And of course, if you need any more help beyond this, we are always there. Nidhi, who is a mental health and life coach expert, me being the emotional well-being coach, we always are there to help people on a one-on-one level or in a group level, whatever works with each one of them. So thank you, Nidhi, once again for your time, and looking forward to see you again in the next episode wherein we're going to share more insights. And thanks to all the listeners as well for joining in and following us for the last few weeks. So until we meet again, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.